Get your money, don't care who judge. Stay out the way, surround yourself with nothing but love. Stay out the way, if you a gangster, killer or thug. Stay out the way, put your faith in the man above. Stay out the way, chill with your family, siblings and blood. Stay out the way, kick it with your girl, forget hit in the club. Stay out the way, mind on your money, ain't no switching it up. Stay out the way, stand out the way, what you thought that it was. Stay out the way. If you stuck down on your luck, not feeling righteous, did a petty crime, just looking for some excitement. Now your name on affidavits and court indictments, get paid for a lot, but your freedom is priceless. You did the crime, you do the time, don't let it surprise you. Real stories from the heart, just to open your eyes up.
Yo, what's good, y'all? What's the word? What's going on? How everybody doing out there? Y'all already know what it is, man. We are back again, and it's time for the weekend banger. It's time for the weekend banger, y'all. That's a lock. It's time for the weekend banger, and I got one. I keep a banger at all times. But like I always say before I start these videos off, man, I have no problem delivering this content to everybody that's out there working, everybody that's out there with a 9 to 5, everybody that's out there with their own business, everybody that's out there getting to the bag the legit way. I make sure y'all got something to watch in the mornings, man. I promise y'all, there's no problem on my end. I also have no problem making sure I'm warning y'all and telling y'all about how dangerous prison is. I only ask for one thing though, y'all. That's it. And that's just for y'all to just stay out the way, man. That's it, man. Y'all think that's a big ask. Y'all think I'm asking for a whole lot. Then so be it, man, because I'm asking for that. I'm asking for y'all not to go through what I've been through. I'm asking for y'all not to leave y'all family. I'm asking for y'all not to leave this world that's out here where you can just do whatever you want, whenever you want. I'm asking you not to do that, man. Just turn your life around if you out here wilding, because if you out here wilding doing the wrong things, it's not too late to turn your life around. It's not too late to hit the reset button on your own life. You control the reset button on your own life. You just got to be willing to do it. Now, if you're willing to do it, you're going to turn your whole life around, man. You're going to start staying out the way like we do, man. And staying out the way is a beautiful life, man. You don't have to look over your shoulder. You don't have to watch for cops. You don't have to worry about drama. You live drama-free sometime, man. The only thing you stress is money problems, man. How you get more money and how you don't lose money. That's what you stress about when you're staying out the way. And that's all I'm trying to show y'all, man. The life of staying out the way, man. So you out here wilding, just turn your life around. That's all I'm asking, y'all. Period. But y'all already know what it is, man. This is the weekend banger. So what I need y'all to do is like, subscribe. Let's get it. Let's go. It's time for business. It's time for business, y'all. And the story I got for y'all today is called His Uncle Was a CEO. Part 1. Crazy story, crazy situation, but we are aware, people. We in penitentiary, man. Crazy things happen all the time, and I'm telling y'all, man, like I have seen some crazy stuff, man. Like you have people that be relatives with people that be working in penitentiary and go down like that. Now, if you let that information out and it gets in the ears of the wrong people, man, like, you know, it could be crazy. It could be crazy things that can happen. A lot of times I seen it. It wasn't crazy things that happened when people found that out, but it is a fact that you will have relatives working in the penitentiary where dudes are at, man. That's just how it go down, y'all. So with that being said, though, Lawrenceville for this, y'all. We on Lawrenceville. And I can remember, man, being in 30 building, man. I'm in 30 building for this one. And this was a crazy situation because, like, you will see so many people, like, come in and out of Lawrenceville, man. Like, you will see people go home, come back. They back on Lawrenceville. You will see dudes coming from other compounds. Like, Lawrenceville was another prison that was like a hub for, like, a good level 3. Like, if you wanted to go to a good level 3, Lawrenceville would be the first prison that you would put on your list when you go for your annual review. Now, when you go for your annual review, that's something that you do every year. Every year is an annual review for every inmate that's in penitentiary. And for real, it's really just, you know, they check to see if you got any charges through the years, any infractions, you know, have you been to school? Have you done this? Have you programmed? That's what they check for. And if you've done those things that they ask you to do the year prior, then your level can be dropped. If you go charge free, your level could be dropped. So when dudes' level drops, they go to Lawrenceville, man. So like, on Sussex 2, I explained to y'all, like, they had like a contract or something going on with Sussex 2. Like, when you mess up, you go to the 4 from Lawrenceville. If you do good at Sussex 2, you go down to the 3. So it was like they was just swapping inmates out. So it was just a lot of people that I would see. I knew so many people at Lawrenceville. It was pathetic. Now, I didn't really know a lot of people on the other side of the yard because, like, when I had got over there, it was like a whole nother prison over there. Now, I knew people over there, but not just like a lot. Like, I knew on the other side where I was at before they moved me. But, like, just being on Lawrenceville, man, Lawrenceville was one of those places where you just see a lot of dudes coming in and out. Now, I can remember when I seen this dude, man, we're going to call him Carl. Now, Carl, bumping into Carl in Lawrenceville, he was a whole different Carl. He was a whole different guy. done changed his life up a little bit, you know what I mean? But you know, people do that, like when they about to go home and all that. People will change their life around when they about to go home. Now, we winding the tape back just a little bit, y'all. When we was on Sussex 2, that's why I know Carl from. Now, when I was at 4 building, I remember when Carl first got on the compound, I was at 4D. And when he first came on the compound, like, you know, he was one of those dudes that, you know, he didn't know a lot of people because he was from one of the counties on the outskirts, like close to them prisons and stuff like that. He wasn't from Tidewater, he wasn't from Richmond. So he was from one of the counties. So like, he was one of those dudes when he moved in, he had looked real quiet. You know what I mean? Like he didn't know what was going on. Fast forward to tape from there, when I bumped into him from 4D, by the time I seen him later on, like a year or two later, he was on the red team now. That's just usually how it go. Like a lot of people are joining up on the red team for protection. A lot of people are joining the red team out of just, you know, peer pressure. A lot of people are joining up for the red team just to have like people around them that they can call family. Like it'd be different reasons why people join the red team. Don't get me to lie, but I know he came from being the dude that I saw come in the pod, didn't really know nobody, was extra quiet, wasn't making no noise. So when I seen him later on, when I got out the hole, he was part of the red team. Now that he was part of the red team, like he wasn't one of the ones that was running around doing all the wilding, you know what I mean? But he was still part of the red team. So like, I never really had conversations with him, you know what I mean? Like the only time I ended up bumping into Carl is when we was in 2B together. Now he had went to the hole and I had went to the hole, but I had got out the hole and went to 2B, probably like a month time of me being in 2B. He came out the hole into 2B. But when he came into 2B, I told y'all, that's like an old head pod, like a few old dudes, more old dudes than young dudes, kind of like. It's mixed in, but there's more old heads than young dudes in their 30s, 40s, stuff like that. So when he came in the joint, he didn't like that because all his homies was upstairs. So he stayed down there for a little bit. He noticed that, you know, I was one of the dudes that was one of the younger ones in there. So me and him kind of kicked it for a little bit. He was just telling me a couple of things. And that's when I found out where he was from. He told me he was from, which was one of them counties. And, you know, as time went on, we started kicking it a little bit more. And that's when I finally asked him, like, yo, how you end up joining the red team? So he said he kept it a band. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. He kept it 100 with me, man. He kept it all the way 100 with me, man. That man told me he joined the red team, man, just because his homeboy was in the red team. So I'm like, so you didn't really care about like joining the organization? You didn't care about like this is something that, you know, people take serious or something like that? He was like, man, listen, now that I'm in it, I take it serious. But he was like, back then, my homeboy just was in it, so that's why I joined. You know what I mean? So I'm like, man, that's crazy. So I ain't really had a whole lot of kicking for him after that. But like, you know, me and him just had a little conversation, and that was that. Now he moved upstairs to his homies, and that was over with for him. Now when he moved upstairs, he moved to 2D. I didn't see him again after that until I finally moved next door to 2C. And this is right before I was about to get transferred to Lawrenceville. Now I'm on my yearly stay out the way task. Now I'm on my yearly stay out the way situation where I'm trying to get to Lawrenceville. So I knew he was next door. He was running with the red team. The red team got into it with some Richmond dudes, got the rumbling, and he ended up going to the hole. I never seen him again. So now that we on Lawrenceville, I've been on Lawrenceville a minute. Now I've been in San Francisco and I got out of there. Now I'm in 30 building. I'm chilling. Now, 30 building is one of those pods where, you know, a lot of people could come in and it don't matter where you're from. Like you could be anybody from Chuckatuck County. Like nobody really cares. Like if you just know how to conduct yourself and you ain't soft, then you can be good. Now, if you coming there from one of them counties and you somebody that's showing that you fear people, and just because you see these people like you scared, then people gonna feed off that and people gonna try to get you. You know what I mean? Not like be a predator or something like that. Probably so, but I'm talking about like just if you someone in there getting some money or something like that, dudes gonna want in. You know what I mean? Because that's just how penitentiary is. So now that we on Lawrenceville, I'm chilling. Like everything was straight. So like I didn't even know that Carl was on the compound at first. You know what I mean? Like I didn't see him at first, but when I looked up, he was next on 31 pod. So I could have sworn I knew him from somewhere. Like he looked a little bit older now, because back then he didn't have a beard. He just used to rock the mustache and the little jump right here, and they would make him cut that sometimes. And he just would have the little mustache, but now he got like the little light beard game. And I'm looking at him like, man, dude looks super familiar. So I'm like, man, one day I just told my homeboy that's over in 31 pod, I'm like, yo, find out what dude name. I was like, man, was he on Sussex too? You know what I mean? So my man was like, all right, I'm gonna ask him, because he was like, yo, dude be coming through buying the wine sometime. So I'm like, all right, holler at him and see what he say. So my homeboy ended up catching me later on at dinner. He was like, yeah, dude say he was on Sussex too. He say from such and such county, whatever the case, but he definitely was on Sussex too. I was like, man, is his name Carl, man? He was like, yeah. I was like, bro, I know him, bro. I was like, man, I know him, man. He was like, what's up with him? I was like, ain't nothing up with him. Like, we part of the red team, right? He was like, I mean, I don't know if he part of the red team. He don't act like he part of the red team. I was like, he don't act like he part of the red team. He was like, man, nah, bro. Like, he just be chilling in his own little world. You know what I mean? He was like, he got like two dudes he might talk to. That's probably from where he from, that's in the block. But he was like, other than that, he don't really be talking to nobody. You know what I mean? He don't really talk to dudes like that. He was like, he's super quiet. He was like, he just moved in. He just moved in. So I'm like, what camp he come from? He was like, I don't know. I ain't asked him all that. So I'm like, man, that's what's up. I'm gonna holler at him when we go back. So me and bro walk back from the chow hall, and I pull up on him. You know what I mean? When I seen him at the door, I was like, yo, bro, you was on Sussex too. He was like, yeah. I was like, you don't remember me, man? He was like, man, you look super familiar. I was like, man, T White, Weezy, man. He was like, oh yeah, bro, we was in 2B together. I was like, what's up, man? What's good? He was like, ain't nothing, man. I was like, what you got going on, man? How long you been up here? He was like, man, I've been up here 4 days. I was like, man, what's up though? What you got planned though, man? So how you get off Sussex, man? He was like, man, he said, I went to the hole and stayed out the way in the hole, got out and just stayed out the way for 6 more months till his annual review came. So he said his joint ended up dropping to the 3. So I'm like, yeah, bro, this camp's sweet. You gonna like it. You gotta know how to move around. They don't really care, but you can't do nothing in their face. But you gonna love this place. You know what I mean? He was like, that's what's up. That's what's up, man. I was like, all right. I dapped him up and I went back to my pod, y'all. So boom. But just seeing him, just seeing somebody like that was nothing. Like you always bump into people that you know from other camps, especially Sussex 2. Like I was on Sussex 2 so long, everybody that was coming up there, I knew. You know what I mean? So like that wasn't a situation I was shocked about. I knew him because I be knowing everybody. So I'll say like probably about a week or two went by, man. Lawrenceville, one of them camps, man, like they just always shaking it up, man. When I say shaking it up, they always moving inmates, COs, everybody getting moved all around the place. When I first got up there, they had just said they made a max movement. They just said they had did a big movement where they had moved all the young dudes to 40 and moved all the old heads to 60 and 60 building. So it was like they try to put all the members over here and the old heads over there. That was one shakeup that they did. Then they'll end up messing around and you'll have the COs that you know, and then they'll shake it up with the COs. And they'll have the COs go to switch, and the other side of the yard, COs will be on the outside of the yard, our COs will be on that side of the yard. They always were shaking it up. So I'll say probably about a little bit of time after I saw bro over in the other pod. You know what I mean? I don't know where that happened, but he ended up getting into it with somebody now. I don't know who he got into it with, because like I say, he was part of the red team. But around this time right here in 30 building, like it was a lot of the blue team and a lot of the G's over there. You know what I mean? You already know what I'm talking about. The G's was over there too. So like, you know, seeing them, that was new to me, like seeing that team of members, you know what I mean? Because I was just so used to the red and the blue. The G's was new to me. Like when I got on Lawrenceville, like they was deep up there. I ain't even gonna lie, it was a lot of them. So like he had gotten into it with them, and I don't know if his homeboys was helping him or what. I don't know what it is. But when he got into it with them, I thought it was something serious. But my man was like, nah, he got into it with one on his selling. You know what I mean? So I was like, dang, he in the red team. They got the red team in the cell with the G. He was like, yeah. He was like, but for real, dude, trying to get out the jump. You know what I mean? So I don't know where that happened. I just had heard it was a confrontation. You always hear about what is a confrontation in your building. Like dudes, just the word spreads fast. So I hadn't heard about the confrontation, but I never knew what had happened, man. But all I know is whatever had happened, I guess he ended up getting out the cell. And when he got out the cell, they moved him over in our pod. So we had one cell open, you know what I mean? Which was 3 cells down from mine, you know what I mean? I'm on the top tier to the side where the dead end is at, into the second to the last cell. I want to say it was 201 or 220. I can't remember how. Don't get me wrong. It could be 202 or 202 or 221, one of the two. I never remember the name of my cell, but he moved like 3 cells down from me. So he was on the same side. So when I'm standing on the tier, I see them bring him in. So I ain't say nothing to him when they bring him in. So when they bring him in, you see a couple of the red team. Now, the red team dudes that was in there, was a dude in there from New York. We're going to call him P. It was a dude in there from New York. It was another dude in there from the Newport News Hampton side that was a red team that had like a decent amount of stain. You know what I mean? When I say stain, I'm talking about leader. He was one of the leaders. And it was like a lot of them that was just running around with those two right there. Like, but they was 2 different sets. You know what I mean? The dude from the Bad News and Hampton side and the dude from New York, the dude P. So it was a decent amount of red team in our pod. But like Lawrenceville, like that didn't matter to people in Lawrenceville that the red team was deep. So what? Nobody cared, man, because it was even. Like it was a lot of red team and a lot of blue team and a lot of the G's, but it was just as much neutral dudes as them. You know what I mean? So like it never was really like if it be a problem, this was an even problem. You know what I mean? Because you know, like we hope a lot of y'all can rumble because a lot of neutral dudes definitely knew how to fight. You know what I mean? So like it never was something that we worried about that it was so many members everywhere, but it was a lot of them in our pod in 33. So I'm thinking when he come in in the joint. You know, they went up there and started hollering at him ASAP, you know what I mean? So they kicking it with him ASAP, you know what I mean? Had a conversation. So after he finished talking to them, that's when he came out. He came out the joint, you know what I mean? And I seen him standing by his door. I'm walking past, I gotta go past to get to the steps. So I'm walking past his door to get to the steps. So I walk by, I was like, yo, He was like, what's up, man? What's up? I was like, what you got going on, Carl, man? He was like, man, I was about to run with my roommate last night, man. He was like, dude, wow, man. Da, da, da. He telling me about it. He was like, yeah, he from Richmond, you know what I mean? He was wilding out, da, da, da. He get into it. So I'm like, man, that's crazy. He was like, yeah, the sergeant just told me they was just gonna move me over here. So I was like, man, I got some homies over here. So I just moved over here. So I'm like, what you got planned? I was like, so that's what's up. I was like, your roommate cool too. He was in the cool with his old head dude. I was like, your roommate cool too. He was like, yeah, I know, man. I'm like, man, I'm gonna holler at you. So I dipped. When I dipped and went down the steps, I went and got me some ice. As I was standing down there, I went to the door. And I'm just standing at the door, basically. I'm just posting up at the door, seeing what's going on out in the hallway. And I seen like the red team kind of like call him downstairs. Now, the dude that's from New York, his cell was upstairs, like at the end of the tier, kind of not too far from where Carl's cell was at. But he used to always beat into his homeboy cell that was in the handicap. The dude that was the dude from New York, homeboy, was in the cell with the guy in the wheelchair. So they had the handicap cell in the bottom left corner. So they will always be in there. The red team will be in there. So they call him down there. You know what I mean? So they call him down there. And he was in that joint for a minute. They had to cut up. I don't know what they was doing. When he came out, his eyes was bloodshot red and he had looked lit. He had looked super lit, man. So when I seen him, I'm like, what's up? I was like, welcome to 33 pod, man. Welcome to 30. He was like, man, hey. Man, he was in there getting wasted, man. He was like, man, I'm messed up, Weezy, man. I feel good. I was like, yeah, bro. That's what dudes do over here. You know what I mean? As I was saying that, my homeboy was like, Weezy, come on, bro, they roll the Feezy. It's like, yo, bro, look. Feezy calls, man. I get back with you. So, boom. I shot stuff like this for that Feezy. That's that Feezy run, man. I don't joke around about that Feezy, man. I got upstairs, went to holler at my man. My man was like, yo, what's up with dude? You know, dude? I was like, yeah, I know him from Sussex too. He was like, yo, man. He was like, you know, my roommate red team now. My homeboy roommate was part of the red team. You know what I mean? He slept on the back side of the top tier. So we like in the second cell of the back side of the top tier where the showers is at kind of. So my man was like, yo, you know, my homeboy, you know, my roommate red team. He was saying, yeah, like, dude, super cool, man. He was like, dude, cool. I was like, yeah, dude, Carl be chilling, man. I was like, yeah, he from such and such. He be cooling out. He don't be doing that. So me and bro hit the Feezy chill for a minute. And that was that. So when they called Child, you know what I mean? We go to Child. So when we leaving out for Child, we go to Child. So by the time I'm coming back from Child, we leaving out the Child hall. I look, it's always a CO right here and a CO right there at the Child hall when you leave out. It's got like a little fake little gate. You come out the joint because the Child hall, you come out the door, but it's like they got like a gate in the joint, like a small little fenced in area. You just come out of that joint. It's a CO right there and a CO right there. They'll hit you with the bootleg pat down just to see if you ain't stealing no oranges. You know what I mean? No food out the Child hall. Dudes still get passed with everything, but they'll be right there. So as I'm coming out, the CO that's patting dudes down on the left side where I'm coming out at, he's not even patting dudes down because I look, he's standing there talking to Carl. So Carl's standing there like, yeah. Like Carl, that's how Carl look. He's like, yeah, man. Like I heard that as I was walking past. Dude didn't even pat us down. So when I look at the CO, I have seen the CO before. I seen the CO when I was over in 60 building. That's why I used to see the CO a lot. Now I told y'all Lawrenceville, they shook it up. They just moved people everywhere, COs and everything. So this dude used to work the other side of y'all. Now he's on our side of y'all, but I'm seeing Carl kick it with him. You know what I mean? The kick it was looking real exclusive. But on Lawrenceville, anytime somebody kicks it with an officer, it always looks like that, y'all. So boom. Because you never know, man. It's just so many barrel coolers down on the ladies and the dudes. Pause. Not on no super like fruity stuff, but just dudes trying to make a way. Dudes trying to get that pack. So that's what it be about. So that wasn't unnormal to see him talking to the officer right there. But he was really kicking it with him. So he kicking it with him so long, like I didn't know what was going on. So he come back to the pod. You know what I mean? So when he come back to the pod, I'm in the joint chilling, man. This kind of like right before we about to get ready to lock down. So I'm sitting they got 3 long tables in the pod. Like the long tables have the seats on each side. Like, you know, like the little circle seats. It's like 8 of them. Then it's a table in the middle, 8 of them. Another table on that side, 8 of them. I'm sitting in the middle table, like at the edge of it, looking at the TV. The TV is in front of the middle TV. So I'm sitting at the edge of the joint, legs swinging, paws. And I'm just sitting there and I'm looking at the TV. I forgot what was on. I think they looking at Sports Center or something like that. But I'm just looking. It's almost locked down soon. So I see bro come back in super late. The dude called, he come back in late. So the slot open up, push. So he come back in, so he walked back in. He was like, yeah, he looked at the TV, he walked up. That's what dudes usually do when they walk back in. He came, looked at the TV, he was like, what's up, Weezy? I was like, ain't nothing, man, what's going on? He was like, yeah, I ain't got nothing going on, man. He was like, man, it's crazy how life is, man. I was like, what you talking about? He was like, man, look, man, you know the CEO you see me talking to? I was like, yeah, Officer such and such. We're gonna call him Officer O. I was like, what you talking about, Officer O? He was like, yeah. He was like, man, guess what? I was like, what? He was like, man, that's my first uncle, man. He was like, man, that's my daddy brother, man. I was like, what? He was like, man, that's my daddy brother. I said, man, get out of here, man. He said, man, that's my word, man. He said, I ain't even know he was working up here because, you know, I ain't been on the other side of the yard. He was like, you know, when he seen me, he ain't want to play it off. He was like, he wanted to hug me. I was like, man, go ahead, man. He was like, he ain't seen me since I've been locked up. He said, I've been locked up 7 years. I'm like, man, that's crazy, bro. I'm like, man, how your uncle work here? He was like, man, I mean, I don't know, man. I said, bro, listen. I said, look, keep that information low. I said, because, you know, they find out you got a family member working, bro. They might try to move you to another compound behind that, bro. I seen that happen on Sussex. You know what I mean? He was like, oh, nah, I ain't worrying about that, man. He my uncle, man. I mean, like, a lot of the COs, they might know me because I'm from close by. Like, I know their kids, everything. So I'm like, bro, I get that. But just make sure you keep that information low because, you know what I mean? You don't want everybody you know what I mean? You don't want everybody in your business like that, base. He was like, yeah, I got you. So it was lockdown time. He dipped. I go in the cell. We locked down for count, you know what I mean? So it counted. After count was clear, we came back out. So we came back out. I'm out in the pod. When I look up, I see him back there talking to like 8 red team members, you know what I mean? One of them is the New York dude. Now, the New York dude, that's the red team member. He was really like, you know, I told y'all about the New York red team member that was in my cell when I was in 40 building when I first got to Lawrence, but this isn't him. This is another New York dude that was in 30 building the whole time, you know what I mean? So when I get over there, you know, rest in peace, Hot Rod. Hot Rod already gave me the game about dude and everything because he used to rock with Rod like that. So the dude was cool. The dude, the red team member from up top, he was cool. You know what I mean? But I already knew he was kind of like a slightly opportunist, which I wasn't mad at him for that. But, you know, he definitely wanted to be around motion. The dude he was in the room with for when I first got over there had the motion. Then he ended up getting toe off, and that was a wrap. But, like, the dude liked to be around motion. So I see him back there talking to Carl. You know what I mean? They having a major conversation, like 8 of them. They all back there by that handicap cell. You see Carl back there, like, you know, he's having a conversation, kicking it with him. So he leave from over there. I guess, like, he started feeling like, yo, man, I'm gonna go, because I be dolo a lot. Like, I'll go kick it with my homeboys, or I might just be dolo. I might just be standing on the tier dolo. I might be standing by the door dolo. I might just, where I say the police be posted up there on a brick wall, I might go and put my back to that joint if I can see the door. And just be like, just, you know what I mean? Just chilling, like, and I just be chilling. Like, that's what I be doing. So usually, a lot of the times, I'm usually dolo in the jump. So I'm standing at the jump, little brick wall jump, chilling. You know what I mean? My man just was over there, but he dipped off. So I just stayed over there and I just was, you know what I mean? Just relaxing, just looking out the door, seeing what's going on. So I guess after that meeting, like, he like, man, he had to get away from the red team. That's what it felt like to me because he just walked up to the front where I was at. And he just stood at the front. He just was, you know what I mean? He was just standing out there. He was like, you know what I mean? It looked like he had something in his mind. It looked like he wanted to say something, but it was like he couldn't get it out. But he was just standing there. He was just like. So I'm like this. I got my back against the wall. I'm like, I see him. He like right there. He at the door. He act like he looking out the door. He like. I look back. I see the red team members just looking over there like, everybody just looking over there where he's standing at like. Then you see the dude from New York, he got the do-rag on, he got his junk tied to the side on some Prodigy game, that's my word, he got the do-rag tied right here. You see him, he just, you know what I mean, he talking to the rest of the red team. He handling business, you know what I mean? I don't know what he talking about. The red team's looking at dude though, they looking at Carl. So Carl just standing there, Carl just standing there looking out the door. So when he turned around, he made eye contact with me, so he was like, crazy, man. I was like, what's up? What you talking about, man? I see you looking crazy in the face. What you got going on, Carl? He was like, shh, man, it's all crazy, man. It's all crazy, man. I was like, what, man? He was like, man, look, man. He was like, man, look. He got a little closer. I guess he didn't want to talk loud. So the way he got, the red team can't see where his lips is moving at. You know what I mean? He like positioned himself like in the corner of the brick wall. So his back was kind of facing them. You know what I mean? So he was like, man, look, man. He was like, yo, look, I'm red team, you know what I mean? He said it's set. He was like, yeah, I'm red team, blah, blah, blah. But, like, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, since I've been here, like, I've been out the way, man. I ain't, like, I'm chilling, man. Like, for real, man, I got 15 months left, man. I was like, for real? He was like, man, I'm about to go home, bro. He was like, man, I'm about to go home. I ain't had a lot of years. I was like, you was on Sussex with me, so I know you had, he was like, yeah. I was like, bro, I mean, you did a little time on Sussex. I said, now you are. He was like, man, listen, I don't got long left, man. He was like, but at the end of the day, man, I'm just chilling. Like, Like my aunt send me whatever I want. Like I go to commissary whenever I want to. I can do this. I ain't pressed on the la. I ain't really trying to do this and do that. He was like, man, I just finished talking to homie P, man. He was like, man, look, why I call myself just being friendly, man, and telling them that, you know what I mean, my aunt work up here and all that. I said, bro, I told you. I said, bro, I told you don't say nothing, bro. I said, I told you keep that low, bro. Keep that low. He was like, no. He was like, but you know, I'm telling my homies. Like, I was like, bro, you just don't know what kind of homies you got. You know what kind of homies he got. I was like, what happened? He was like, man, the dude P was like, man, look, man, tell that man bring us in a bag of tobacco.
Get your money, don't care who judge. Stay out the way, surround yourself with nothing but love. Stay out the way if you a gangster, killer or thug. Stay out the way, put your faith in the man above. Stay out the way, chill with your family, siblings and blood. Stay out the way, kick it with your girl, forget hit in the club. Stay out the way, mind on your money, ain't no switching it up. Stay out the way, stand out the way, what you thought that it was. Stay out the way. If you stuck down on your luck, not feeling righteous, did a petty crime, just looking for some excitement. Now your name on affidavits and court indictments, get paid for a lot, but your freedom is priceless. You did the crime, you do the time, don't let it surprise you. Real stories from the heart, just to open your eyes up.